So this was our last day at Ascension, and after an uneventful dive the previous day, we'd heard from the yachties that there was a beautiful cove that offered safe bathing and snorkeling. So we decided to go over as a crew and go and spend the afternoon snorkeling around the cove. Yeah, little did we know how different the day would turn out.
Lava. Awesome lava flow, eh? Wat sê jy, Dirk? It's mooi. Yes. Oei, okay, wat sê jy, ladies? Check it. Yes, it'll be nice diving here. Good fish here. Very bumpy.
The rope here as well.
It's obviously climbing up that you guys throw from here. Eh?
Yeah.
This is apparently where they throw for the big tuna.
Yeah.
They stand on the rocks here and they cast for the big yellowfin when they come in shallow. It's like the bay and the rocks we had yesterday. Look at the crevices down here. How's this, eh? Hey? How's this little swimming pool? Yeah.
Little last day talk about before we go for Cape Verde. We're all checked out, ready to go. We've got to leave tomorrow morning at 6 or 7 or 8. This is a little isolated beach here with a little private sand strip, and we had to get in the water, and it's absolutely phenomenal just to be wet a bit.
Yeah, it was about this point that I saw the shark come around the corner and knew instantly that we were in big trouble. Just the speed that the shark was swimming at and its size. You can hear me whistle and shout for Kerry in the background as Dirk carries on commenting on the fish.
The tiger fish, when you drop the rope, comes straight to the rope and try and keep the algae off the rope.
Now the shark saw me and turned and came bulleting towards me immediately. At that stage I was between panic and trying to stay in control, and I was registering everything. One of the things I noticed immediately was that the shark's pecs were in a downward position, which is an aggressive pose.
Trevor and Kelly just got chased out the water by a big shark. They're the opposite side of the canal. John, it's the sun is on the beach already, and I'm hiding on the rocks, not taking any chances.
I kicked as hard as I could towards Kerry, but I realized halfway there that if I carried on doing that, the shark was going to hit my legs, and so I turned instead and faced the shark and went towards it and threw my legs and arms wide and screamed into the water. Fortunately, I didn't have a snorkel, and I was able to scream into the water, but at the same time I had to lift my head out the water to shout for the others and look for Kerry, and that meant I had to take my eyes off the shark, which was even more terrifying. I was out of breath screaming under the water before the shark turned less than a meter from my face. I managed to turn to Kerry, shouted for her to get out, put my head back in the water, and the shark was coming at me for a second time. At this stage I was up against the rocks and did the same pose again, screamed at the shark a second time, and then just turned and just bulleted out of the water next to Kerry onto the rock. We were so fortunate that we had the little platform to get out on, because either side of us it was vertical. The shark kept coming and even nudged up against a rock, and I had to pull Kerry's flippers out of the waters as the shark kept patrolling up against the rock. We were seriously lucky.
You got snot in your eyebrows.
I'm liking it.
I got shit in my underpants as well.
Trevor and I have been just chased out the water by the biggest Galapagos shark. It actually went for Trevor, and thank goodness Trevor just lifted his arm and screamed at it, sort of made himself big under the water, and then screamed for me, and I saw it, and I nearly died. We clambered up the rocks. I've torn my pants. I've got cuts and bruises, and so has Trevor. And we climbed. Thank goodness we're next to rocks. And yeah, sat there, and then John and Dirk came to pick us up with a rubber duck. But I seriously, I could not stop shaking. My legs, my fingers, everything, my whole body was just quivering, and it was so scary. But yeah, we're here. And wow, it was not nice. I need a double or something. This is the area. There's the most beautiful fish underneath. There's stunning fish and all sorts. Beautiful. But oh my god, just around the corner lurks that big one. And right there is where Trevor and I were. We're now taking a walk up this path. I'm going to see some sights, just to have a look and see what's. It's very volcanic here, and it's our last day. We're leaving tomorrow morning, and just taking a stroll to see what's happening here. Oh god, and I feel my elbows and my knees and everything with scrapes and bruises. Don't know what I'm going to look like tomorrow, but yeah, I'm here anyway. Check at the top of the hill. We went through the other way, but this is what they tell us.
And that board there.
Oh. Do not enter. Okay, the sea is murky. Do not swim, surf. I still can't believe I was in the water with a shark now. I've never in my life. I think I'm going to need a double and probably 2 sleeping tablets tonight. I don't know what my knees and elbows are going to look like tomorrow morning, but anyway, we've got methylate. Trevor's not even going back in the water. It was like arm's length from his face. Yeah. Anyway, so pretty, really beautiful island, but oh my gosh. Dirk and Trevor, John, and Ascension. These sharks. This crazy person called Dirk. I mean, this is how you do it, eh? And then Susan's sitting on his legs and I'm holding his arms. And we're trolling with a rubber duck.
Yeah, last evening at Ascension, had a little nasty experience a couple of hours ago. Went for a swim at a little cove, and Kerry and I were on the left-hand side of the cove, and John and Dirk were on the other side, and we had a little friend come around the corner about 4.5 meters long, and had a go at me twice, and we had to climb out onto the rocks and get the duck to come and fetch us. So when you get told not to swim at Ascension Island, believe me, it's not a bullshit story.
That was very scary. Very scary experience.
Yeah, last sunrise at Ascension. This is the morning after our little escapade at the cove. Last night we were on the beach looking at the turtles. You can see all the tracks there. Yeah, just to give you an idea, I'm trying to focus with a telephoto holding it still. Those turtle tracks
are just from last night. To give you an idea, obviously there's one going up and one coming down, but in the small area that we were in, there were probably 10 to 15 turtles on land last night, and we hadn't gone down 1/10 of the beach, so you can see how many tracks there are on the beach and how many turtles came out just last night, and they're coming out every night to lay on the beach. It's quite incredible. Now that's the little spot where we had the braai, the yachties in the evening and the researchers, and that's actually Turtle Rock there, or they call it Turtle Cove, and that's Turtle Rock sticking up there, and that's actually a retaining wall that's been built there for a tidal pool, which we thought was for swimming. It's got a big grate in it so the sea water can come in and out. It's actually a holding pen. It was a holding pen for captured turtles before they were exported to the UK for food. So yeah, that's just an interesting bit of info on what used to happen here in the old days. The turtles that are now protected. We were basically around that area there, near the house, looking at the turtles. It's super cool to sit there in the moonlight and just sit like 10 meters from them, 15 meters from them, and they're just carrying on. But yeah, once we put the lights on to see them lay, it seemed to disturb them, so we decided to leave them for the evening.
We had arranged the evening through Nature Conservation, and they had acquired infrared headlamps, but even that seemed to disturb them. So we decided to return to the jetty and the rubber duck to go back to the boat. So just when we thought our saga with the sharks was over, exactly in the same scenario to see here, I went to pick up Susanna and Kerry and the duck after watching the turtles on the beach. And we saw this 3-meter odd shark, half the size of the one that came around the corner earlier, swimming against the jetty. And got in the rubber duck, put the motor down and started the motor, and the shark just launched itself at the duck and attacked the back of the duck. Incredible to see just how aggressive these sharks are. And yeah, it bit the back of the engine, the prop, and I'll show you some of the damage that it did to the engine. What happened last night, I hope you can see it. You can see the top of the prop, there's got a divot out of it. And the edges of the prop have been flattened. They've been flattened here. And you can see there, that's where the tooth of the shark stopped the prop in its mouth. You can see the tooth marks on the top of the prop. Alright, so there you can see the tooth marks there, and there, and there, and there, and there, and there. You can see how it's been graunched. As I was saying, it was turning in its mouth, and it's graunched the top of the prop flat, and then stopped the prop dead. You can see the edges over there that have been taken off. Actually stalled the motor in gear and turned the motor off basically while it was in gear. Never ever seen such aggressive behavior from a shark in my life. So while the water looks cool and inviting, I'd just like to apologize to the officials at Ascension Island on behalf of the crew of La Renoa for not taking their warning seriously enough. My advice to anybody who visits this island is to stay the hell out of the water. This is not a joke, it's deadly serious. An eye in the sky. It's like a shark's eye with its head coming at you. All I can see looking at these clouds is sharks after yesterday's performance. What a scary flippin' experience. I hope never to be repeated again in my lifetime. Seriously got the fright of my life yesterday. There are some of the cuts and bruises from clambering up over the rocks yesterday. Kerry's got a lot of cuts on her legs and on knees from the efforts getting up over the, I
like a razor clam thing. I mean, she was lying on top of them. It was actually bloody scary. Such a beautiful temperature here, just sitting waiting for the sun to come up. Kerry and I have been up since sort of 5ish. The shark scenario running through our heads permanently, you know. It's difficult to switch off after something like that. Just happy to have been in one piece and have survived it. So anybody who comes to this island, be sure to take the warning very, very seriously. I've never experienced this kind of behavior with the sharks, and they are not to be messed with. That is for sure. It is not a joke. It's highly, highly dangerous. Here she comes. Right over that mast.
Pulling anchor at Ascension for the last time. On our way to Cape Verdes now. It's a long trek. Actually, super happy to be going actually after what happened last night. Scared the absolute shit out of me last night, and yeah, not in a hurry to get back in the water here, so we'd like to go and find a place where it's a little bit more friendly to get in the water. And join us next week as we head across the intertropical convergence zone and the equator en route to the Cape Verdes via Dakar. Subscribe and join us, and we'll see you then. Cheers.